Throughout the history, the ocean caused both admiration and fear in the minds of people navigating over it. It covers more than 70% of the surface of the Earth, and still we have been able to explore very little. The depths are also largely unexplored, deep, cold and ancient. That is where the legends exist. So today we present you 12 sea creatures which just may be more real than we would like to admit. 8 of these have reverberated over the span of cultures throughout generations. For our younger, born in the era of instruments of sonar, internet and cold recording equipment, we are haunted by all of them. The Kraken. Suppose something like this, that you are sailing in a gray sky, where the sea is too calm. Then the waters commence to boil, as it were, beneath. In the depths that which is huge awakens. Kraken is not a squid. It is some great creature, eyes shining like lanterns on a ship, arms as big as masts, and a beak as hard as to smash through a hull. It was part of Scandinavian mythology and caused fear to the sailors of Norse who believed in the Kraken. They thought that it could engulf whole vessels and pull them down to the pit. Were inscribed warnings at the margins of old sea charts, "Here be monsters." It was not part myth, it was true compass. The first video images of a giant squid were filmed in early 2000s. It was not so monstrous beast as the Kraken, eminently big, though, and enough to give a leap to the heart. Kraken does not live in the shadow of the sea anymore, now, it is pop culture, either in Pirates of the Caribbean or God of War. Nor do we yet quite know the deep trenches which it may fill. Is it possible that Kraken actually exists? Then yes, in case size and mystery suffice. And maybe it is not the horror of seeing that is so bad, but the horror of not seeing. Jormungandr, the serpent of the world. A serpent of so great length, that turning round the world, bites its own head. This is Jormungandr, the sea beast who was born of Loki and brother to Fenrir. The Norse prophecies state that Jorn would emerge at Ragnarok and fight Thor to destroy the world. It is no ordinary dramatic legend, it is a symbolic one. The serpent eating its own tail, the Ouroboros, is symbolic of time, of cycles, infinity. But there is one legend to the effect that it was seen in sight of land, along the coasts of Scandinavia, long-necked creatures apparently making an abnormal speed through the water. During the 18th and 19th centuries in Iceland, whole settlements reported seeing huge snake-like shapes thrashing in the water. There is now even a possibility that some scientists may have witnessed oarfish which grows up to 11 meters, and they are very alien in appearance. Jormungandr is seen to be sleeping at the end of days as it is in mythology. But there is positive no chance that he will ever in any age or era come to sinister life, except it be that the world shall know. Megalodon, the giant shark that once was. Long before the human being got stewardship of the surface, something dominated the sea. Megalodon is a giant 3-time great white, having a jaw span that can gobble up a small car. It has been found on all continents, with its sharp teeth being fossilized. It existed in the Miocene and Pliocene periods, and perhaps it hunted the whales. The bite of this animal was so mighty that it could break a bone and cut the flesh with a single bite. The head that keeps the legend going, however, is that there are some teeth still so fresh that it would appear that they are new. They have never unearthed any complete skeleton, only bits, huge vertebrae, tossed down the sea bottom, as puzzle pieces tossed down. There are even speculations that the Megalodon may still be alive in the depths unexplored. Other people cannot believe that, it would require too much food. However, the enigma is what drives documentaries, novels, and other late-night hypotheticals. Was it possible to come back? Science tells no. But the sea said nothing. Sea Eater. There is some story of a canvas beneath the surface, whispers at the coasts of the Arctic and Canada tell. No eyes. No roar. Nothing but just form. And after that it was all over. The Sea Eater does not strike violently, it clears. Boats disappear without a fight. There is no trace of people who disappear. Seal-like, except that its mouth is so large it spans its smooth face. The Sea Eater has never been photographed, never filmed. We know it only by silence. The fishermen try to relay the story with misgivings. Others will tell you that it does not kill, it restores. Just as though the sea is purging what does not belong. Something is lurking under the still water, and the sea eater may or may not be a reality. Something that does have time to run. Does not have time to shut. Ogopogo, the Canadian lake monster. Ogopogo is the Canada equivalent of Nessie, which swims the depths of the Okanagan Lake in British Columbia. Ogopogo is also depicted as a long serpent with a horse-like head, with its story beginning with the Syilx, Okanagan, nation located in the province of British Columbia, who offered sacrifices to the water spirit so that people could cross safely. There are now more than 200 documented sightings, one group of 30 witnesses in 1926, which keep the legend alive in modern times. The legend of Ogopogo was so strong that Kelowna has gone to make a statue of the legend, having turned the mascot mythical. Some just claim it is a wrongly identified sturgeon. Others, they tell that they have seen its humps swim over the water in the morning mist. And just like that it disappears. Ogopogo is still swimming in hazy videotapes, bare-eyed documentaries, and at the edge of the lakes in whisper. The bloop, a sound that should not be there. In 1997, something different was caught on the underwater sensors which were set to detect submarines. A salary, thunderous tone. Amazingly loud, heard far thousands of kilometers away. The United States NOAA has named it as the bloop. First, presumably nothing could have made it. Its mark was a biological one. The strength? Impossible. Others pointed out that it is very near Relaya, a fictional submerged city of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft. Coincidence? Maybe. Scientists finally believed that it was caused by icequakes, cracking of glaciers underwater. However, believers do not believe. There was something which had made that sound. And it has not been heard since. One sound. One moment. This question will not go away. The Loch Ness Monster, forever watching. Loch Ness in the gloomy Scottish Highlands is very deep and dark. Still, since the 6th century, individuals have talked about something living internally. A long-necked animal and topped with humps and a pair of eyes that pop up surface just to take a moment. The story of St. Columba and his tale in 565 AD to the notorious so-called photo of a surgeon in 1933, Nessie is now an icon of the unknown. It turned out to be a hoax a couple days later, but the faith did not go away. Contemporary sonars have produced mysterious results. Human beings boast of hearing movements under glacial waters. New footage is still released every couple of years, even presently. Nothing definitive. A sufficient amount at least to keep us looking. Mermaids and sirens, the daughters of the deep. What is considered in our times as the beautiful, romantic, and innocent image of a mermaid is quite different. They were hunters in the legends of the ancient times, particularly the Norse and Celtic shores. They have sharp fangs, pale skin, voices are so seducing, and they are able to drive the fleets to destruction. Sirens, which people mistake as mermaids, were originally half bird and not half fish. During centuries, myths were combined to one archetype, the sea maiden of deadly kind. She does not love you. She wants to make you drown. Mariners used to sing in the fog, said the tales of sailors, and women danced on the ocean, and when they were reached, were found to have disappeared. Horror movies in the contemporary world take these origins back, where mermaids pull, and not save. Perhaps, they are not earthly. Or possibly they are not, and they have ceased singing. Titanoboa, the forgotten giant. The planet became silent after the falling of the dinosaurs. But in a marshland of modern-day Colombia a serpent rose. Titanoboa. 50 feet in length. 1 ton of muscle. It did not bite, it pressed. It had coils that could break ribs and snap spines. In 2009, paleontologists were shocked to find its fossils. On land nothing was so large. There are those who were saying it lived in seclusion. The others pose the question, is it possibly that its descendants still lurk way down in the Amazon? What was more, rainforests are not known well at all. And we keep discovering new species each and every year. Titanoboa existed. That is not myth. It is the most frightening. The Gran Maja, El Gran Maja, the online-born monster. El Gran Maja was first described over some obscure internet boards which claim that he lives in the farthest reaches of the Arctic Ocean. More than 2,000 feet in length, with searching eyes and dagger-like teeth, it leaves no light to see. Others claim that it has been observed during some of the deep-sea research trips, gigantic forms drifting by the camera lenses. Some connect it to unaccounted undersea vibrations or information distortions that are too frequent to disregard. There is no mythology, no old art, no songs. Only fear. And perhaps it is the scariest because of this. The Ningen, the ice-cold humanoid. White. Giant. Human-shaped. No face. No eyes. Sleek limbs and ice through the veins. Ningen had appeared in Antarctic fishing boats as part of Japanese paranormal. Crews detected pale forms shoving beneath the ice, which were longer than submarines. There are no not blurred photos. No videos that are cut too early. However, the name is chilling. The character that suggests the meaning of human is Ningen. Because it is not exactly a monster. It is simply overused. Scientists scoff. However, there is enigma. And sometimes, but not always, belief prevails over evidence. Are they real, these creatures? Maybe not. However, they remind us, the world below the surface is not an empty place. It is old, secretive, and observant.